A little mug placement there. Today I am recording a new song called Nikon Camera. Just a little bit of background about it. Basically, I went to school for photography for a couple of years, and my mother gave me her Nikon FM camera. It was a film camera, and I spent a lot of time learning on that. Now I shoot a lot of digital stuff for creation and content because you have to keep up with the Joneses. I always go back to that film camera. I like to develop my own film, and I just want to write a song about how life is like that, like to slow down, to be more analog. It's kind of like how I make my coffee. You know, I make it, there's no wrong way to make it, and you can make it with a Mr. Coffee or a Keurig if that's what you like. It's fast, it's quick, but it's not the way I like to do it, you know? So every morning I get up, I make it in a Chemex, and I think it tastes better. It slows me down, and I enjoy the coffee more. I think life and art is like that. You need to slow down sometimes when you're writing, whatever you're doing. If it's photography, if it's songwriting, if it's, you know, prose writing, poetry, art, you know, painting, anything that you're doing, you need to really like slow down and focus on what you're doing. That's kind of what the song is about, but it's from my perspective. It's about my Nikon camera that my mom gave me, and how I've been using it all these years. It's one of the first records I ever listened to, Creedence Clearwater Revival, the concert live, and I remember listening to it on my parents' Panasonic vinyl record player, and it had an insert you could plug a mic into, so I would plug the my Ibanez guitar straight in and play along with the record. So a lot of the first songs that I learned were Born on the Bayou, Green River, Bad Moon Rising. I remember taking the needle and dropping it back to learn Bad Moon Rising. And honestly, like, it was years later that I realized that he played like a whole step down. I was always wondering why when I played my chords, you know, like a D, that it didn't sound as it sounded different from his. But yeah, this was one of the first records that I ever got into. Jesus Was a Capricorn, great record. Waylon, I've always been crazy. You can't be from Louisiana and not love Doug Kershaw. What kind of country artist would you be if you didn't love George Jones? Gotta love that. I wish I took those photos. That's some really good photos. You notice a lot of these were probably shot on medium format. It's really blurred out in the background, which makes me think it's probably a medium format camera. Or a very long lens on a 35 millimeter. You can't not have a Beatles record. And if you're gonna have a Beatles record, why not have 20 of their greatest hits? This is another one I grew up with a lot. Yesterday, Help, Love Me Do, I Want to Hold Your Hand, Penny Lane, Get Back, Come Together, learning all those. Like, I'd plug my bass into the stereo and try to learn those as well. And my fiance, who sometimes plays drums for me, is in a all-female Beatles tribute band. She's Ringo. There it is. Back to the Barrooms. One of my favorite Merle Haggard records. Misery and Gin, Back to the Barrooms, Makeup and Faded Blue Jeans. So many great ones on here. Think I'll Stay Here and Drink. Don't Have Any More Love Songs. Another incredible photo from a record. You can see that they had an umbrella kind of lit that way, so we're getting a little bit of shadow here, and the Rembrandt triangle of light, very traditional lighting. Looks awesome. Man, film photography is just great, and the most classic records were made probably shooting Nikon cameras. Today in the studio we've got a couple of mics. I've got actually two Warm Audio mics. This is a 251 clone, and this is a 414 clone, so WA14, WA251. This one's a tube one, this one is not. So basically, it's going to be running through a Cappy 312, which you can't see, it's just off camera. We're going to take a run through of this, and this is my first take of this song.
Life's like a Nikon camera, shooting film in black and white. Gotta wait a while to find out if everything comes out alright. Sometimes life's a little blurry, sometimes it's a little dark. Sometimes you nail the focus and knock it out of the park.
So, truthfully, I think that there's a lot of crossover between like analog music and analog photography. I think that in an age of everything being digital, everything being AI, everything being intangible, that having records that you can just pull out and you can see the grooves, you can see the times they've been played, you can hear them, you can watch it spin, and it's very hands-on, and it's slower. You can't just skip to the next song you want to skip to. You have to listen to the record, the whole thing, as a whole piece, the way that it was intended. Yeah, I am going to buy a Nikon camera, film camera today, and then I might go test it out a little bit tonight and see if it works. Alright, so here's the moment of truth. Got the CR2 batteries. It smells like cigarette smoke so bad. This guy definitely was a smoker. Costs like $14 for the batteries. Almost as much as the camera cost. Almost. Let's see if it works. Fingers crossed. Hey! Looks like there's a frame left on this film he has. Oh my god, even the camera smells like cigarette smoke.
Waiting all night long for the jukebox to play another George Jones song. Tell me, darling, did you believe in love from the start? Kickstart my honky-tonk heart. Ask the bartender to send us around. A few more drinks, our feet will lift off the ground. If you follow, I'll lead. Our boots will do their part. Kickstart my honky-tonk heart. Waiting all day for a Friday night, ice cold beer.
So it's a perfect time to talk about decisive moments, because right across the street here, I was just crossing, and I didn't have time to get out my video camera. I'm actually doing this on my phone at the moment. It's a little windy. And a horse and buggy Amish, like there's probably like 6 or 7 guys, you'll see the picture, were crossing, and I just didn't have time to do anything other than snap that one photo. So if this is good, it felt like it was good in the moment. Hopefully it's pretty good. But yeah, in Nikon Camera I talk about taking that decisive moment to get the shot, and that was my decisive moment. So hopefully it's as good as that. Saw it in the second.
Tend to find the photos on the battlefield, in the streets of Barcelona, Tennessee's rolling hills. In that decisive moment, always take the shot. You may not know if you have it till you develop what you've got. Breaking my back all week long for Saturday night at the honky tonk. Band's been playing all the hits on the chart, revving up my honky-tonk heart. Solo! slow, breaking my back.
I got all the guitars. I did a double take with like a kind of a lead flat picking style on the second track, and then I went ahead and did banjo. I forgot to record that part. Kind of got into it. I only did it in one take, and it's kind of be buried. It's going to be a little bit below everything, and I'll probably add like a big blooming reverb on that to kind of give it a bigger sound. And I think with photography, there's some crossover there where shooting film photography on an old Nikon camera, you have to slow down. You only have 36 shots, and that makes you have to slow down and really think about what you're doing, because you can't just fire like super fast. Even if you could with an analog camera, some of the ones from the 2000s, you can shoot probably 3 to 5 frames a second, but you're going to go through that in under a minute, and then you're going to be at a whole roll of film, and you really have to slow down and think about what you're shooting, and you're not really spraying and praying like a lot of digital photographers can do. And I think that translates really well with analog music and analog photography, any sort of like analog medium where you're really committing to what you're doing, so all the prep comes from beforehand, and it really should. When you get to that final moment where you're taking the picture or you're capturing the music on tape, you have to be prepared for what's going to happen, because that's the final product, and that final product can only be manipulated so much. Now I'm about to record the vocals, and I'm doing it on the 251, with the API 312. On the Trident, I'm boosting at 120, like just a tiny bit, like 2 decibels, to give it a little bit more lower fill in my voice, because I tend to sing, I guess, a little bit more nasally.
People find the beauty in the final art you show. They don't always see the time in the dark where you develop and you grow.
Alright, I've got my mama's Nikon camera from the song. This is a Nikon FM from the 70s, and at the very end of the song we're going to get a little bit of a... That's not going to let me do it. Okay, going to get a little bit of a... right at the end. Whereas with digital, you can do a lot more manipulation and post-processing, but the caveat is that it's unending. There's so many things that you can do, which I think can cause analysis paralysis. You can overthink a situation because you hear what you did and you're like, well, is that the right move? I can do it like 400 different ways. A lot of those old records weren't perfect, and that's what made the sound. And a lot of analog photography isn't perfect, and that's what makes the image.